I like to kind of phrase that like second order question is like, hey, Jason, if we get these things in order, or if we're showing you 200% growth in 2025, would you feel comfortable picking up the bat phone and calling your 3 favorite Series A investors? Because that's really the litmus test.
Well, and to answer your question, I would be delighted to introduce you to Sequoia, Chamath, Sachs, Pick the Person, Ruloff, great investors, Brian Singerman at Founders Fund. I'd love to do that if you're doubling or tripling revenue year over year. If revenue's flat or down, we should probably have a discussion of if you want to do that now and prove to them that you're unfundable right now and you haven't figured out how to grow, or should we figure out a way to get you to growth, break even, and say, hey, we decided to see if we could get the unit economics right, get to break even. Now we're ready to grow. In other words, we need to have our story correct. Yeah. And in addition to a story, you do need to have a timeline. Are you raising money in Q1, Q2? And in your mind, Scott, how much runway should you have in months when you kick off your fundraising?
I would say the absolute least amount of runway would be 9 months. Because I think, and maybe you go down to 6, but I like to start with a lot of cash in the bank. Ideally, you are hitting those metrics, right? But you don't want the VCs to run the clock out on you. If you're getting down to 3 months of cash, venture capitalists they're smart and they're worried about adverse selection. They don't want to be the one who feels like they didn't discover whatever was the matter with you in diligence, right? And if you're getting down to like 3 months of cash, you're in real trouble. And really, you may not get money. And if you do get money, you're probably going to get it at a pretty unfriendly valuation, which no one really wants. So I would say start your fundraising with 12 months in cash. It's probably going to take you 3 to 4 months to actually get it done. And one of the things we've kind of noticed is the fundraising climate is challenging, but like you were kind of talking about, there's certain sectors that are doing really well. For example, the AI companies, this is their time in the sun right now. So AI companies might be able to raise money over 6 weeks, something really, really short. Whereas if you're a traditional SaaS company, or maybe you're in biotech or consumer, it's going to take you 3 to 6 months to raise. So you can't really start too early. Just make sure you have enough cash to give yourself some leverage so that the investors can't dictate terms to you too dramatically.
Yeah. And you got to set a timeline. It's a sales process. You got to have your targets. I would have set a minimum of 6 months. If you only have 3 months, here's a very simple thing. Stop taking a salary, cut, 2 people and raise your prices and basically show 6 months of runway. And you know what? It's amazing how many founders would rather go into a fundraising with 12 weeks than take the medicine. If you take the medicine and you now have 6 months rather, you're going to have a much better time. Okay, what's next on this top 10 list? We got their number 1.